before you go in to get loans, ask about their document requirement guidelines. That's things like how much funding for bank statements, how much funding for tax returns for 1 year, how much funding for 2 years of tax returns. Hi, my name is Matt Coach. I created this YouTube channel to share the tips, tricks, and mistakes on my way to building an 8-figure real estate portfolio. And when you go to a bank and you ask them for lending, they usually have certain amounts of lending that they will go up to depending upon what documents you show them. So if you're going to a bank, they might go like, hey, look, we start with our credit card. Our credit card goes up to, say, $50,000, and we don't need you to show any income documentation up to $50,000. If you want your credit card above that, we're going to need to see some sort of income verification, right? So that can be pretty normal. Sometimes they'll go up to $50,000 for lines of credit and term loans for the same thing. The next step after that is what can you provide with bank statements, which is you give them 2, 3, 4, 6 months of current bank statements. This will be showing kind of the current revenue of your business, and they might be willing to go up to, say, $100,000 based off of your bank statements that you can provide to them. So they go, hey, look, we can go up to $100,000 on a line of credit or a term loan if your business can show bank statements that qualify you from a revenue standpoint for that amount of funding. Usually, though, they're willing to fund about 10 to 15% of whatever those bank statements say you'd make over a year. That's kind of the general guideline. Then the next step is tax returns. Okay, so they might be willing to fund, potentially millions of dollars if you can provide 2 years tax returns, sometimes profit and loss statements, and usually the bank statements as well for that loan. And also they're going to probably throw into consideration your current standing with that bank. So if you have no relationship with that bank versus if you have been banking with them for the last 5 years and they know a good amount of those, they might need less documentation if you've been banking with them for 5 years than if you just start with them today and you're asking for a $250,000 loan because your business makes $3 million of revenue a year, and you're willing to, they're going to be like, hey, prove that with some tax returns. So ask for those documentation guidelines, because when it comes down to tax time, you want to know, hey, how much do I or should I be showing on these tax returns to get these next levels of loans? So that's something you want to communicate with your accountant, because the amount that you go towards write-offs, where say you take money and you buy real estate so you can create your own write-offs and not pay as much in taxes, might hurt you on these loan statements. Most of the time they can add back in any kind of paper losses that you have, so revenue is the most important part of this whole situation. But know that before you come in, that can help you strategize with your accountant how to best set up your business from a tax perspective so that you can continue to get the lending that you need to grow your business. So ask them about that. Know where your business is at, know what you're trying to do, whether you're trying to not pay so much in taxes or whether you want to show more profit to get more funding, or what your strategy is at that point. But it's something that you want to have a conversation with local bankers of banks you're trying to get funding for, so you know that. This might be a little more important so that you guys can go to the next level with this, is that with just bank statements, right? If you can get funding in the beginning of the year, you could theoretically do all your write-offs towards the end of the year, where then you throw money into more real estate and houses like that, and you create those write-offs towards the end, that last quarter, and you get your funding in that first half of the year with those bank statement type loans. But if you want to get really higher level of funding, you're going to need tax returns. So if your tax returns show that you make no money, it may be harder to get funding for you. So conversations with your bankers that you have, so you can have a conversation with your accountant and your tax strategist on how best to diversify, your income to have, mitigate your tax risk, but also continue to get funding for your business to make it grow. So hopefully that's helpful for you. It's slightly higher level, but there you guys go. See you later.